When I got out of college, I had $26,000 in student loans. By the time I am 26 now, I've paid them off. It took about 2.5 years, and it was a little bit of a journey, but the feeling I have now of totally being debt-free was totally worth it. Hey guys, what's up? I'm out here on the beach. This is part 2. The first video I talked about how I actually went through college and accumulated these loans, and how I was able to even at some point get paid to go to college, community college for a time, and kind of just how I floated through and got through without too many loans while still going to a good school. So if you want to check out that video, please do. And but this video, I want to go through exactly how I came away with $26,000 in student loans, and then how I was able to pay them off in about 2.5 years. And I know a lot of you are thinking about this, struggling with it. It seems forever, like 10 years will take forever. And then something might happen where all of a sudden you have a little bit extra money and you can start aggressively paying these student loans down. And that's really what happened for me. When I got out of college, especially when I was in college, I was not thinking about student loans. I was like, it'll be fine. I'm gonna make a bunch of money out of college, and everything will be easy. And I only have 20 something thousand compared to other people that have like 150,000, which is, by the way, if you want to check out the other video, I would have had 150,000 if I didn't have so much financial aid and help from USC and FAFSA. But anyways, check that out. But yeah, so I had 26,000. I was like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. That won't be that hard to pay off. And then reality set in. I got my first job out of college. It was at Fandango, working as a digital marketing person. And I just wasn't making that much money. I was making good money, but my expenses in LA were averaging, somewhere around $3,000 to $3,500 a month. And I was probably making around $3,200 a month after taxes, and that's not including 401k stuff. So I was doing okay, but I was like right on the edge. Sometimes I was losing money per month, and then sometimes I was making a little bit more. I was cash flowing. Yeah, so at this point, I'm making basically about as much as I spend per month, and I'm in this desk job that it's okay. I don't really, at certain points I'm like, oh my god, this is so horrible. I just can't believe I'm stuck in an office all day long, can't even enjoy the sunshine of LA, whatever. So I started thinking about, I can't keep doing this same thing and expect to be able to change anything. So I started learning about personal finance, reading all the books, the blogs, that kind of thing. Started making a bunch of changes. And this is really where there is no magical formula of, here's how you can pay off all of your student loans in 2 years. The thing is, you have to make consistent changes to save more money, and at the same time try to also make more money. Now, making more money in your job can be a little bit hard. Sometimes, raises just come when they come. It's not always a perfect science. But with saving money, at least you have a little bit more control. And that's what I did. I made big changes. The big changes were, let me go into a couple mistakes. One thing, I rented out my own 1-bedroom apartment in LA, which was too much money for how much I was making. Didn't realize it when I got it, obviously, because I wasn't thinking about it. Also leased a brand new Subaru Crosstrek, which I thought was great, but was costing me like $500 a month with gas and insurance and all that kind of stuff. Those were my big two. The other thing is I was eating out way too much. In LA, you can go through $100 dinner, like that. It's so easy to spend so much money. And then I was eating at work and all this kind of stuff. So the biggest changes that I made, got rid of my lease. I bought a $5,000 Toyota Corolla in cash, used. Had no more car payment. Insurance went way down. That was a great move. It had all low miles and all that kind of stuff. I didn't move out of my apartment because I was trying to move up here to San Francisco anyway, so I kind of didn't think it was worth the change if I was going to move in 6 months anyway. But eating out, I really changed, and I was saving probably $200 or $300 a month. In addition to that, I was selling things online, like just trying to get rid of junk in my apartment, stuff that I didn't need, all that kind of things. So instead of spending, there's a dog on the beach if you can hear that, but instead of spending like $3,500, $3,200 a month sometimes, I was averaging more around $2,800, and that allowed me to start accumulating actual money after 401k, after spending my expenses in a given month. So that's the first step. I mean, you have to be cash flow positive, basically. And if you look at yourself as a business, you're going to have expenses and you're going to have your income. If you are spending more than you make, you will be going into credit card debt and basically losing your shirt. So it's a prerequisite. I mean, there's no way you can pay off any debt, any loans, and really do anything unless you're doing that. And you need to keep improving, saving more, and keep improving, making more if you can. I lowered my expenses by $500, $700 a month. Now, at the time, I wasn't really thinking about student loans. I was actually more interested in putting all that money, that extra money, into index funds, my brokerage account. I was just not really thinking student loans were that big of a deal, because they're like 3 or 4%, and I can make 8% or 10% in the stock market. The thing is, and this is like a whole new video, a whole new article that I did want to write about probably, is that, and I'll go into it just to say this, is that when you put your money in the stock market, it's not a for sure bet that you're going to make 8 to 10%. When you pay off your loan, it is 100% sure that you are going to actually make 4% on that money because you've just done it. So it's like, yeah, you can make more, but you can also, in the stock market, lose that money if you don't sell, you don't lose it, but you could be down 5% in a given year, or make 2%. It's a sure bet versus maybe. At this point, I would say this is about a year and a half after I've graduated college and started my job at Fandango. And just to give you a timeline of what I actually paid and all that kind of stuff. So at first I started $26,000 in student loans, and then right before the student loans became into the repayment mode, and just before I started Fandango, if you watch my other video, I had really done something dumb, but I'd risked like an extra $5,000 to $6,000 in loans, took that loan money out even though I didn't need it, and put it in the stock market to try to make a little bit of money. Luckily, I did make a little bit of money, not that much, but I sold it and sold the stock. And so when I first got my job, I ended up I just paid off $10,000 in loans because I had this extra money of loan money, plus a little bit from working and plus a little bit from the stock market. And I was just like, I want to at least get these loans down a little bit. I don't even feel like I should have taken this money out. It's just in cash. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to put it back in the stock market, so let's just pay it off. So I paid off $10,000 right off the bat, and that was really good because it just made it a bit lower of a number and felt more manageable. So I was at $16,000 when I got my job at Fandango. After a year and a half, I don't know the exact, but I was paying like $150 or $160 a month each month, and I was at some point, however long, and I think I put in like a couple of times like 500 or just like a little bit extra, And eventually, you know, after about a year and a half, I was at like around 12 or 13,000. And yeah, I guess it was like 13,000. And that's when I got a job offer at Facebook. And, you know, my girlfriend was living up here in San Francisco, so I was like, oh, I gotta take this, gotta get up there, whatever. Did that. My salary increased by a lot. It was like 30-40% increase. And from then on, you know, I still wasn't thinking about student loans though. So I moved up here to San Francisco, got this increase in my salary. Now, when you get a big increase in your salary, it's going to be really tempting to inflate your lifestyle. But luckily I didn't. I actually moved up here and moved in with roommates, unlike when I was living in LA, and I saved even more money. So I was, instead of spending like $2,800 in LA, $3,000 or so, I was averaging more around $2,600 here, and I have been. And actually it's been even lower in the last couple months. Just because I've been really focused and, you know, not spending too much money on random stuff. But so yeah, I actually lowered my expenses and raised my income by a good amount. This gave me a lot of extra income to put towards investments, 401k, Roth IRAs, whatever, all that kind of good stuff. That said, I still wasn't thinking about student loans until at work. I was just like, I don't know if I was even at work, but I was like, maybe it was at dinner at work or something like that, and I was just kind of on YouTube looking around, just watching money videos, and I hadn't really watched some Dave Ramsey stuff up until that point, but I started, just like fell onto some of his videos about debt, and I guess I was like, well, I could put the money in the stock market, or I could just pay off this debt, get it done with, and be forever done with it, instead of waiting another 8 or 7 or 8 years to fully pay it off. So I just took all the extra cash. I kind of lowered my 401k contribution. I took a little bit extra for my paycheck, banked the cash, took about, I already had some cash, kind of didn't know what I was going to do with it. But after about 3 or 4 months, I had like $6,000, and I paid off $6,000. So now it's basically in half. $6,500 I paid off. So now I had like $6,000 or so dollars left, and it felt really, really good. But at the same time, I also felt kind of cash poor, and I was like, oh man, that took a chunk out of my, cash savings. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, but keep doing it. It felt really, really good, and I felt like I was getting closer and closer. So that's what I did, and another few months went by, saved up another $6,000 in cash, and paid it all off. In the very first day, I did feel like, okay, well, was that smart? Should I have done that? Should I have invested that maybe? Because the stock market at the time was doing pretty damn good, if I remember right. But then in the next few days, I started feeling really, really good about my decision. And I started feeling like, wow, I don't have a lease anymore. I don't have any debt related to my car. I don't have any credit card debt. I never had credit card debt. I don't owe anyone anything. And now I've just paid off my student loans, which is for anyone my age, around my age, is like the one big thing where you just assume, oh, I'll have credit card debt for the next 10 years. That's just how it's going to go, or longer if you have crazy amounts of student loans. So I just felt like this huge relief, and yeah, even right now, it just feels really, really good. Now when I think about my net worth, I don't actually have to think about liabilities. I have 0 liabilities. I only have assets. Now my assets are lower because I took some assets to pay the liabilities, but it's worth it. It was, like I said earlier, it's a guaranteed return on your money of, you know, for whatever percentage of your loan is, that's your guaranteed return on your money. So with that $12,000 that I paid off, you know, in the span of six months or whatever it was, that was a guaranteed return of like between 3.8 and 5%. Did the stock market beat that? Maybe, but who cares? It doesn't matter. It's just, it's not in the scheme of it. It doesn't matter a few extra points. Just be done with your debt. Try to, you know, do what you can to get rid of it as quick as possible. Because basically it just feels good, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Yeah, I guess the takeaways are: make more money, don't inflate your lifestyle, and if you can't make more money at this time, sometimes it takes years before you can get a raise, or a really new job where you get a bonus or whatever the case is. Save money. That's what you can fully control right now. The big things, and I want to do another video about this, the big three: rent, car, and eating out. If you can, if you can save on those three things alone, you could probably depending on how high they are for you, you could save 20% or whatever it is. So yeah, focus on those things, be consistent with it, try to pay more than the minimum, but yeah, do what you can. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next video.